Six-pack Lapadat. We got big body. We got Natalie Richards. Um, we let go of Rory due to his poor performance in the last podcast, and that was a good decision. Thank you, Nat. But just like the men's, we're focusing on the battles. We're looking at battles. We're not doing like when we do international competitions and we go division by division, looking at all the different casts and do our one, two, threes, etc. We're not doing this we didn't do it for the men's. We're not doing it for the women's. We're specifically focusing on particular battles and highlights that we're going to mention. So we're going to move a lot quicker. So we're going to start just like on the men's, though, in the 47 kilo class. Now, this one will be a battle. We have the number one ranked 47 in the world, Jessica Espinal. She holds the world record. And we have Heather Connor, who was the GOAT 47. And if you're watching Heather's training, absolutely lighting up some of these lifts. Just to put into perspective, her previous best squat, 143. I seen her in prep, squat 155. That's freaking insane. For a 47 to be adding that many kilos on her squat, absolutely nuts. Haven't seen a lot of her bench, but dead 200, and I seen her pull 205 in prep. Now let's hold her bench at 75. I haven't seen a lot of her bench on Instagram. Let's just hold it at 75. Let's give her that 155 squat. Let's give her that 205 deadlift. Let's hold her bench press. That's 435. That would make her the number 147 all over again. Quick pinch me, what year is it? Some of these lifters come back like Shell, Taylor. Could Heather Connor do the same thing? Her prep certainly would indicate that she's in a good position to. And historically speaking, she doesn't cut a lot of weight, if at all. So the what she does because of that, what she does in the gym, more likely to transpire on the platform. It's exciting. Now on the flip side, Jessica Espinal, heavily injured with took a barbell to the face and a massive black eye. I have to assume there was a concussion involved if you get hit in the head and it leaves you that badly banged up. I mean, it was badly banged up. She looked like freaking an MMA fighter, like Joanna Jędrzejczyk after she fought Wiley Zhang. UFC fans will know what I'm talking about. No one else will. Hasn't been posting a whole heck of a lot. I seen I mean she's obviously like previously mentioned 433.5 is her previous personal best. If she's around there and Heather's around what I gave her, they're going to be battling both of them hand in hand walking right across 430. That's freaking crazy. That's one of the best battles of 47s you're going to witness. I don't know where we're at. I don't know where Jess is. I don't know how badly injured she was and how much time she had to take off. I'm not sure what to expect from this. Natalie, what are your thoughts when watching this?
Yeah, I am super, super excited to just watch them battle again because they've, kind of been having this back and forth for a couple years now, right? Back in like 2023, I feel like it really started. So I know Heather's training's gone super well. She's working, I believe, with Kedrick, and then Jess, strength guys, right?
Yeah.
So they both have, excellent coaching staffs behind them. And I mean, I think from what I've heard and spoken with Heather, like she seems that she's feeling really healthy, which has been a struggle in the past. I think at SBD Raleigh, most noticeably. And I think if she comes in healthy and can just hit what she wants to hit on squats and deadlifts, that she can kind of push the number to be just past what might be the ceiling for Jess, especially if Jess had to take time off at training from just the injury standpoint, if she had a concussion, something like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Heather puts up. But I think it's going to be one, a PR total, and then two, going to push Jess to where she also has to hit a PR total. So it's going to be, I think, the four, let's say, give it a wide range here, 420 to maybe 435, because there might be that last final deadlift people have to make it. And that's where you can maybe lose kilos there.
Body, is this battle going to live up to the hype?
Yeah, I want to give these two young ladies uh give them their props. I know Jessica's obviously like junior territory, but I want to give them their props. they're strong. They're strong. You know, if you for those of you that don't know what 47 kg is, that's 103 pounds. Um, that's a lot of that's some lifters dumbbell bench press work, single arm dumbbell bench press work, right? Like, uh, and to see them totaling in the 430 plus ranges or being or having capability or have done that, I think Heather has made some based off her training. She's made some sizable improvements. I actually just looked, and I don't know if this is a recent post. I believe it is. She just pulled 210.
Damn,
She
Yeah.
just pulled 210.
this is
So that's
freaking insane, man.
yeah, it's 463 pounds for those that are not aware. 462, 463, however you want to call it. When did she post this? Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. That was a while ago.
She has hit 205 though. I'm
She
pretty
she
sure.
Yeah.
she actually hit 207.5, 210, and then recently did around the 205, 202.5 range. So um it's all relatively close. And
Yeah.
like you were saying, with the 75 bench, she did PR the 152.5 squat. And then having that range of, somewhere around 446 to 463 on the deadlift end, she's looking at 430 plus territory. Jessica Espinal set the world record, excuse me, at Junior Worlds with 433.5. It's going to be a battle, in my opinion, and I'm excited to see it. It's really cool to understand, like, relatively 100-pound women are able to lift these type of weights. So I just want to give them respect. I'm excited for the battle. They're two larger names in the game, and yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I think it's, in my opinion, it's going to live up to the hype.
And like I know we were talking about like smack talking earlier, but I've seen some like smack talk like online between these two, and I'm not
Oh,
making it up.
really?
I swear. Yeah, last
Wow.
year more especially. This year it's all, supportive and like nice and stuff, but there's like some
Yeah, like
smack talk coming around. So I'm here for it. We
I
talked about
like
it
that.
earlier.
Coming
I'm
from the
ready.
ladies, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Respect. Yeah.
Also, one Heather actually squatted 152 and a half for a double. I don't know what the hell's going on with their squat.
It's
It's
blown up
absolutely
though.
blown up. Whatever she's doing, it's working. I mean, her squat is absolutely blowing up. She's pulled over 200 a couple times in this prep. So I mean, frick, it looks like it's going to be an absolutely monstrous total. I don't know how it's all going to lay out, but this is a
If her
this is a
if,
good battle.
if her bench didn't improve, there's a chance where you see 440. Even if the bench didn't improve.
Yeah, even if the bench stays put, she hasn't been posting a lot of bench, to be honest. If her numbers are moving up like that on the squat, I mean, you don't need to. And that's the thing too with 47 kilo, the bench press, 2.5 kilos is a huge integer to be moving up. And it's the smallest one they have possible. So it's very difficult to make those bench jumps and gains, etc. But again, for her total, to your point about adding it all up, let's hold bench where it is. She's still going to have a monster total. I want to see what happens. I'm very, very intrigued. This is one of the better battles in the women's side or just period on this American Nationals.
Agreed.
All right. Moving into, so again, we're focusing on battles. In the 52s, it looks as though we got a favorite here. Gainer Metzinger coming in with a nominated 427. Vanessa Panita, sorry, with 412 and a half. But in the 57s, we wouldn't ordinarily have a battle. Natalie, depending on how roughed up your body is, let us know. Are we going to see a battle? Because ordinarily, you would be obviously the head and shoulders favorite. What are we looking at here?
Um, it's fine. I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Okay,
Uh, as far as
it's
like
fine. Everything's fine. House is
everything's
on fire in the
fine,
background.
I'm fine.
guys. Relax. Yeah, the back's feeling good. I literally just tweaked my hip flexor like per usual at some doing something stupid on squats, and I've just been rehabbing it. So I'm gonna go out there and do what I need to do to get a total, have some fun. I haven't competed in literally like over a year. And then to hit a total to ideally get me to Worlds in the primetime session, that's literally the only goal. So that's what I focus on, this time around.
And you've been benching like crazy.
The bench
Benches,
is good, actually.
bench
All
is
these
good.
back injuries, man. Bench is blown up. Yeah.
Bench been loyal. Bench
Yeah.
been loyal. So you're anticipating you'll do what you got to do, collect your W. Because as we look at it, and it looks like Mariah Bolton would probably be the next up at 452 and a half. So you have a sizable. I mean, obviously you've gone well into the 500s, and you're not expecting you have to do that. You'll load what you need to win, get you win, and look to be ready for Worlds is what we're looking at there.
Yep. Like this hasn't been like really a peak. It's just been like what can I do? And like I think like the last week was the first time like I hit squat depth and I'm loading up the weight a bit more. And then like bench or deadlifts, I just pulled like 205 and I haven't touched that in like months either. So like I'm literally just ramping back up. The goal is to not injure myself and continue the momentum that I've
That's right.
built forward. So I'm excited to compete and to see everyone. And ideally, that's my game plan going into 57. So maybe not a 500 total or 520, but I'm just going to do what I need to do.
Fair enough. As we move into the 63s now, this isn't necessarily a battle. And I know again we're highlighting battles, but when the champion or someone like Megan Scanlon, she's the champion, fresh off of Sheffield, though, no less. She doesn't necessarily need to do this. And
I
she's
know.
saying this is we got a couple times we're gonna have to say this in this episode, and we'll discuss. But she doesn't have to. And I say it's not going to be a battle, but I do want to also say Angelina Martinez is a rising star. If I'm looking at what her numbers she's been hitting, and she's trained by David Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, she's credited officially based off of previous total, which her previous best total was 495. Her squat was 167.5. I seen her hit 180. Her bench was 102.5. I seen her hit 110. Her deadlift 225. I seen her hit 230. We're now floating around 520 for a 63, and she's a junior. That's a 25 kilo jump.
Yeah.
Gentleman and gentle lady. Angelina may not be able to threaten Megan now, but by next year, this might be a battle. She's moving rather quickly. She's progressing at a pretty fast pace. So we'll put a pin in that. And respectfully, I think Megan is a solid favorite, and I'm not expecting this to be a major battle unless something crazy happens. And if you're wondering how Megan is coming fresh off of Sheffield, how training's been, I seen this week. So her personal best total is 555 kilos. And I seen her do a pretty big SBD day, and she did 539. And so if you look at that 539, if she's even around that kind of shape coming out of Sheffield, she should be good. Another point I want to say about Angelina that struck me is she's going against a legend. Megan Scanlon's a legend. 2019, Megan was battling at the World Championships with USA across her chest. We're over half a decade later, and here we are. She's the world champ, still doing her damn thing. She's a legend. She's a hero. Angelina posted, "Why worship legends when you know that you could join them?" I'm telling you, when people are on the come up and they're like this, pay attention. When people have that kind of chip on their shoulder and they know they're going into certain battles and they see it coming down and they see their progress, they see where you're at, pay attention. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you not going to do the goat noise for Meg? You did it for Taylor.
Oh, right. Oh, God. Rory's not here, so we're beating me up now. This is why I needed Rory, because we could all agree that we're roughing up Rory. That poor bastard. All right. All
We had
right.
to
All right.
fire him. We had to let him go.
That's right. We had to let him go. We made some cuts, and I'm gonna have to stand by those. All right, let's move on to the 69s. Now, this is a battle. This is for sure a battle. Gabby Martinez versus Celine the Machine versus Jacqueline. And we have three ladies all clustering around 550 kilos. This one is so close. Three-way battle. Flip a flipping coin. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I got some things queued up here. So, first, we'll deal with Celine the Machine. She squatted 205. She hit 200 kilos rather easily in prep. She's benched 122.5 in competition. She hit 130. That's a massive bench PR. She's deadlifted 212, 222.5, and I've seen her pull 215. And if you're wondering, like some people, they don't hit PRs in the gym. And she said, so this is to give you a little bit of perspective. She put, this is the most I've deadlifted in the gym. If you're wondering, how does that work in terms of how does that transpire? Well, she's these are the biggest that she's deadlifted in prep for a meet, and it's happening at a time when she's going to need it. Looking at Gabby, comment that she's made first off, life may feel heavy, but the bar sure doesn't. Her squat PB, 200 kilos, 0.5. I seen her hit 197.5 for a double. She's almost taking her previous squat PR for a double. Bench press 122.5. I seen her do 125, albeit it was a little bit of a touch and go. And for an SBD day, I seen her hit 550 for a fatigued 550 back in January. Gabby's rocking and rolling right now if 550 is fatigued. And we said these ladies are all, I mean, at least historically around 550. God knows where they're going to be at. They seem to be all striking and hitting heavy. Jacqueline Malater did 552.5 at 73 kilos body weight, but also did 547.5 at SBD Rally as a 69. Raleigh. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I almost had to go over there and
I
correct you,
I
Ryan.
fucking was quick with that. I corrected myself, young lady. Thank you. You gave me a second grace. That's more than you gave. That's more than you gave
That was
Rory,
his
and I
third
appreciate
strike.
that.
Come on.
That was all right. Thank you. Um. So, anyways, Jacqueline also right up in there with Celine the Machine and Gabby Martinez. What are you thinking here, big body? All three of these ladies so closely clustered, and it looks like all of them are having phenomenal preps, and they're going to leave 550 range behind.
Yeah, so I think something you mentioned that's very important to notice. I guess I'll speak to it later when we get there, but especially on the female lifter side through experience, I've definitely understood that um, not every lifter does hit PRs in meets, and their lifts really show up once they're at their freshest and their strongest on meet day, and then they hit PRs on the platform. So I think that's something in terms of speaking on data points that's very important to just stay aware of. Um, as far as it pertains to these three women, Gabby Martinez and Jacqueline Malater have always been notable lifters in this class for sure. One of the things that I do have a concern for Gabby is just I've seen her recently. I think she doubled. It was the 197.5 that she doubled. And I have questions about the depth. And again, I think when we talk about athletes' standard of execution, they could take it personally. If you think about it, if they do, that's good because then it'll motivate you to like make sure you're sharp with that. But it's never a shot. It's just an objective question that I have. And I want to see what's going to take place. There are some sentiments with training where, lifters will squat more or less higher in training. And on meet day, when you pull off the fatigue and you're able to execute a little cleaner, you're dealing with one variable that you don't have on meet day that you had during training. They're able to hit depth and it's not a problem. But it is just something to question and just pay attention to. Jacqueline, throughout the years, as I've seen her compete, I believe it was last nationals in the 69s battle. And it was between 3 or 4 of them. I know Gabby was in the battle. I believe there's a couple of other ladies, but the squat battle was insane. The squat battle was intense. And it went down to the wire. I think this battle will also go down to the wire for the podium. But with Celine Crum, seeing her compete at Raleigh.
My favorite so far.
Okay, perfect. Celine, I have a lot of respect for her. I've with these ladies, I've watched them over the years, but Celine and that performance really took my eye as an athlete. Like I was like, she's nice. She's a force. And to know that she benched 130, that's like that's messed up. That's 7.5 more keys based off what we have here on the data
That's
points. And
that could be the win. That could be the difference of the win right there, which
yeah,
is
and
crazy to say.
it's and that's what the great ones do, right? Is you where can I get an edge? Where can I get a little bit more on everyone else, right? And if they have to go into pools, and if she can bench something close to that and hit something best to her all-time best squat or more, and then you're coming into pools and she's got that in the chamber as well. I mean, I think I'm not gonna go or choose against Celine, especially based off her last performance. Knowing the information we have now, I have respect for her, right? And for the same sentiments of kind of like in the ranges of like we're talking about the Kaikos or the Taylor Atwoods, also for Celine Crum. This is not a knock. Gabby and Jacqueline, they're up there, but Celine, I have her just with that extra X factor through whether it be through the bench and just also how she executes. She's dangerous. Um, I do challenge Gabby and Jacqueline for the sake of a battle to rise to the occasion and destroy that sentiment I just spoke on. That would be great, right? But I do have Celine as the favorite of these three women. I do have her as the favorite, uh, in my belief.
And to like kind of piggyback off what you said there, like that was also SBD Raleigh was Celine's first meet in the 69s. She only weighed 67.2.
Oh
So that's
yeah,
like basically 2 kilos that she's had to like gain and fill out the class. That's probably why her bench is going crazy as well
yep,
too. Who knows how much more
Yeah,
room she has just because of that ability to grow into the class.
excellent point.
100%. I mean, that bench is going to move up when you throw on body weight.
Yep,
Um, yeah, and she's just realizing some of her potential. She actually talked about that relatively recently in her stories about how she's moved up. She was a 57, then a 63, then a 69, and the numbers keep moving, and it's like it feels good, feels right. What the heck? Why don't
yeah.
I just keep going? And she's at the top of the class, so it's not. Yeah, it looks like it's trending in the right direction. Now, let me ask you, Natalie. Does the fact that Gabby more than likely will have the biggest deadlift of the three, if it's this close, as long as everything goes properly, she'll have the last say. We think. I mean, unless maybe you disagree that maybe historically speaking, anyway, she's got the biggest deadlift.
Yeah. I think she will have the biggest. I think she'll have the last
Right.
pull on the day, which is an advantage for sure. Because you know what you have to hit to win it. So I think she will. But I think the question is, will Celine or Jackie's subtotal push her to load something that she just might not have on the day? So
Right.
that's where making that 7.5 kilo, PR from bench press will kind of come in. Or Jackie's been hitting a ton of like good numbers in prep for her squat. So if she squats something bigger, I think Jackie historically had a little bit of a bigger squat than Gabby. And then Celine's right in the mix as well, I think around 205-ish. So I can see it shaking up a couple different ways. I think Gabby's going to pull last regardless, and it's going to be who's bigger subtotal is determining the second place. Because I think Celine and Jackie are going to be fighting for second if Gabby can get everything in a row to her last deadlift.
Quick question for you guys. Is this one the tightest battle amongst multiple competitors we have at this US Nationals? When you look at this, these three ladies historically are all around 550, all three of them. Is this the tightest, hardest to call battle of the entire US Nationals for you?
I would say so because it's literally a 2.5 kilo difference between all of them, maybe 3 kilos, if
That's
that. And there
crazy.
are trainings all going well.
Yeah,
So
good.
whose top end is the biggest is the question right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. Again, my face is making some movement here as we're still talking, and I'm kind of doing some like speculative calculations. Um, I think it will be really really tight, but again, I just want to make sure like doing some more calculations. I'm actually impressed with what Jacqueline's been able to improve on. So I just want to make sure she knows that her respect is given. Same thing to Gabby. I think it's going to be very tight, but I just kind of want to like uh make sure I'm very clear on this point with Celine is that just seeing again, she's got a little bit of an X factor, a little bit of an edge that I believe I've seen enough to have belief in her a little bit more over the others. But it's not to say that Jacqueline or Gabby cannot change that. And, it could be a rotating, overcoming scenario where maybe Celine got the best of them last time, and maybe Gabby comes in and takes it, or Jackie does, right? Um, but yeah, I agree. This is probably one of the tightest battles in the entire nationals week that we'll see. I believe. I mean, we're all talking what 550 plus, right?
Yeah.
All in
Oh
that
yeah.
range. So I mean, yeah, it's certainly tight. I mean, like it could be the difference between 2.5 kilos, maybe 1 kilo. Who knows? Like but point five, you whatever. It's going to be a small differentiation. I think this is going to be the tightest battle. Yes.
Yeah, and if you take a look at also, if you want to do a comparative of her prep as well, or go back into Jackie, hit 195 on squat, 130 on bench for a double. I mean, she's absolutely flying herself. And so 197 and a half was her squat in her last prep, just to show you where she's at. But 135 was her last bench press, and she's doubling 130. So even for her, prep is going well. She's at the top end of her lifts in terms of coming into this, and probably going to have more on the day. She's a vet
135 in meat.
in meet. She's hit 135, but if you on her in prep for this, she did 130 for a double.
That changes a lot.
That's yeah, right. Like this.
With that, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing is like understanding how lifters peak. Like I have one of them where like we're looking for in prep, we're looking for your numbers to supersede what you've done all time in training. With that data, we know that once you pull the fatigue off and you're very healthy, it just depends also. Like like again, some coaches and teams they build into meets, some peak into meets, right? They beat you up, they taper down, rest you, and then you explode into the meet. Others they hit that earlier, then they build into a meet. So things show up differently. The data points are different. But um with that context there for Jackie, that changes a lot. If she hit X amount with with 122 in training or whatever the case may be, right? Now she's hit a little bit heavier in training. If she can bench 300 or more, a little bit more than that, if she can bench 308, 303, that's like that changes a lot. That's the extra edge. That's some defining information that's like, all right, this might be more in Jackie's favor. So again, just as the more information we go through and we talk about, it's gonna be tight, man. It's gonna be tight.
Well,
The
it,
69s I always have respect for and love watching their battles.
and like, again, to add just a little bit more perspective on this. So her previous as I pull this back up, hold on 1 second here. Her previous best of 202.5 squat, but her last competition she did 197 and a half. It was in Raleigh that she did 202.5. But 195 she took in prep for this and literally moved like an opener. And her opener, like legitimately moved like an opener. She said, I've never moved 195 this easily. And usually she opens with 185. So if that's now, and again, like this is, it's very difficult. You don't want to overread into these numbers, but she moved 195 like an opener. 185 used to be her opener. So what if 190 is now her opener? Is she finishing off? Like, are we moving everything 5 to 10 kilos over? Again, you don't want to overread into it. All I'm saying is these three ladies are all so closely contested and all of them are blowing up in training. All of them are doing some crazy top end lifts. It'll depend on who does what day of. Handling is going to come down huge. Handling is going to be almost everything. And if you have any issues making weight, you better be on point. How you recomp. It's the little things now. It's your recomp. Are you going to cramp it's all this. Natalie, you do nutrition coaching. These little things like that, game day handling and the recomp and all this. This is what it's going to come down to. But yeah, this is one of the best battles of the U.S. Nationals, and probably in my mind's eye the closest. I think
Mhm.
Jessica Espinal and Heather Connor is super duper close, but it's a two-way battle. This is very rare. You have three ladies this close. I don't know. I don't know how to split this.
I'm ready for it.
I
I'm ready for it.
don't
Let's
know how
go.
to split this. If you're gonna miss something, don't miss the Battle of the 69s because yeah, and look at Gabby's already made it to Worlds. Celine wants to get there. Celine was crushed when she didn't make it to Worlds last year. She wants this. And we'll see how it unfolds. I mean, that all matters. Motivation matters. When you walk up to the bar and you told yourself, this is mine, you have to take it from me. It means something. So as we're looking for more battles, moving into the 76s, you're not going to see, we don't anticipate a battle here. Cranen is back. Cranen Warford, she's hit 585 at last year's World Championships, taking a bronze medal, punching her ticket to World Games, returning here to U.S. Nationals. I think she's a heavy favorite. Big body, you might have some input. Obviously, she's on the flex squad in terms of her training.
Yeah, so she's had I call her like a baby Bambi, or like the little sister on the team, right? With some big responsibilities, as she's she's still been in this sport for not a long time. She's still fairly new, and she's had to learn about, like, prioritization that she's working on, and she's doing a lot better. She's the best she's ever been with that, and juggling all the things that she does. With She has a huge social media presence. Um, Jim Shark is, like, I don't know what you would call it, like the Nike of the fitness industry. Um, they're $1 billion company, and she has a lot of work to do with them, and just promoting that brand and everything, and making appearances, traveling all over the place, and still, taking care of her powerlifting due diligences. And I think this is the context that the power, you got your powerlifters, right? Your powerlifter's powerlifter, and then she's also in that fitness world, and I guess kind of going into fashion too and all that. So she's got to juggle both, and definitely could say that we could say we're happy with how she's handled that as a young woman, and just being strong and handling all that. And I think she's done very well. I think she's had a solid prep, and we're excited for her this nationals. She's ready to go. It would be great to see someone come from the woodworks that we don't see coming and have a battle. Don't want to overlook anyone, but again, they're not really seeing nothing on social media. This is not a knock to anyone, but just calling out, doing the numbers. Like, she's a 76 that I believe she could also have close to, if not 600 in the chamber. And she's hit some really big lifts, as they've also navigated her prep and made some solid tweaks to the world's prep coming into this prep. So she looks sharp. She looks great. And confidence is high. Respect to Jasmine CA and what she's done in the past, and all the rest of the other ladies in this class. But I mean, we're just calculating numbers. If you add the numbers up, if you look at, like, what is she going to have comfortably on this day, it's a pretty sizable amount. And it would just be tough to see, unless someone's been gatekeeping training and we didn't see this coming. Um, I would say that she would probably be the favorite.
She's definitely a heavy favorite. Jasmine, phenomenal lifter, been to Worlds as a junior, and Jessica Kinney, also a veteran. Those two will battle beneath, but I think Cranen is definitely a very heavy favorite to take the title and return to World. It will be exciting to see what she does at Worlds. I agree. She's already at 585, 600. I agree is I don't know if on this day, but probably at the World Championships, like she's going to be 600 now. She's a phenomenal talent. She's just got to drop that hammer and go all in. But yeah, moving into the 84s, and you were saying offline before we got in here, my goodness, my goodness. Amanda Lawrence, what are you doing here? We surprised. Before we get the big body, Natalie, are you surprised to see Amanda Lawrence in there?
Yeah, I literally had no idea that she was doing this until we were doing our notes for the podcast. Like I knew that she was a little bit injured and was coming back and rehabbing that. So I'm just kind of like she doesn't need to do this. Like no one's gonna touch her or be close to her toll she has done in the past. So I'm just surprised that she's doing the cut and coming down to lift and when she's going to Worlds here in the next like 9 or 10 weeks as well. So yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah, I,
shocked.
I think she had injured her abductor, she had mentioned. Maybe we'll ask Big Body a little more on that. Big Body, do you know the update? Is Amanda Lawrence still like, is she still doing this?
So I have not received word that she's not doing it. And so I'm kind of sitting in the same uh pool with you guys, it has me feeling the same way for Meg Scanlon. Like, I don't know why you're doing this. I would definitely I would take the off season to correct areas that need to be corrected, stay healed, control variables, grow, right? But some people just, if she's doing this, she's just a competitor. She wants to compete. Maybe she wants to fix something, or I don't know. I don't know why she wants to do it, but it is her decision, right? Um, what I am confused about is, does anyone know anything about Layla Soto? Because she was on the roster, but now I see there's a zero, which typically happens when sometimes when you're pulling out. And so she got lifted down to the bottom. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the case. Um, I mentioned her because she was at Junior Worlds. I saw her double like 220 in training. I believe she's hit like 225 or 230 before on squat. She's got one of the bigger benches. I think somewhere in the range of like 125, 130. I could be misspeaking. Um, and then I think she's pulled something around like 210 range.
Hmm.
And so she's definitely up there. I've watched her in the USAPL days. I saw her at Junior Worlds. She's someone that I have respect for as an athlete, and seeing, I don't know her as a person, so it's not that I don't have respect as a person, but just making sure because I just said
I
athlete. But
got you. I got you.
yeah, I have respect. She's caught the eye from a coaching perspective, and I was getting mine ready to say that you got some others here like Stephanie Feathers. She's hit some good numbers in training. Layla Soto. I don't know. I think it's Layla Taylor now. I think I've seen on her Instagram handle.
Yeah, I literally like could not find her open powerlifting while you're talking, but it's Layla Taylor in open powerlifting now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe her last name changed for various reasons, but
Yeah.
the point is, Stephanie Feathers and Layla are two 84s that I just look to let Tiffany know. You cannot overlook these young ladies. You can't. At the same time, if Amanda's doing this, no one's going to be in range of 630 plus, in my opinion. Um, for Tiffany, I think she's had a great prep, and to the same sentiments that I said I would get to once we got here, she's hit a lot of large. We've had like consecutive squat PRs for the past like 4 or 5 months, so that's just been on fire. And this prep around, I'll just kind of go into it a little bit. I wanted to focus really on expressing that big deadlift while pushing the squat. And you kind of have to be meticulous about certain details, especially for Tiffany. She's a 32-year-old woman, and she's been powerlifting. Her training age is about 9 years.
Hmm.
So I've been working with her for 3 years, and we've been able to put on about 40 keys every year. So it's been about 120 the past 3 years. And we're keeping that going, which is great. Speaking to the sentiment we talked about before, where some lifters don't show up in preparation in terms of like PRs, but if you can gauge and manage or calculate, hey, we hit this number, which is X amount larger than last prep. I'll give you guys context for NAPF prep. She didn't hit anything stronger than a 127.5 bench. When we came into NAPFs, she was she hit 140
Hmm.
and she was good for 142 and a half. So I'm excited because she's hit around the range of 132 and a half, which is about 5 more keys this prep. So hopefully we can hit that big bench marker that she's always wanted. Um, 2 reds, green, and a collar. That'd be great. 145 kg. But we're gonna try to press history and be one of the next few uh women to have her be one of the next few women to have totaled 600. Ultimately, we're gonna try to do podium as high as we can. See if Amanda's gonna go. Gonna try to do our best. I hope. One of the things that I would say is that I wouldn't want Amanda to, like, you guys know about her adductor. Um, I guess she's posted about that. One of the things I just thought about is, like, don't come into this meet and, like, something would hold you back to where, like, if you don't total over 600, which I think is far away, but just like for her sake, being a teammate, like, I wouldn't want something to happen where, like, if you don't total under that and you competed on that day and somehow, like, the worst case scenario happened and Tiffany did hit 600, wouldn't that mean that she wouldn't go and then Tiffany would go because you competed on that day? So I'm considering that based off of the adductor issue, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's fair or not.
I
I
don't
can't
know if
remember.
that's
Isn't it? I think it's the highest total, so I think she would take her Sheffield total still.
Okay. All
I'm
right. Okay.
pretty sure. Does that
well,
sound right, Ryan?
yes.
Okay.
I just want to also say real quick before I forget the point. So, um, hold on a second here. I have confirmed. So Leila is still on the roster on the website. So
Uh-huh.
and a day ago she was saying I'm ready for fun next weekend, and she squatted 230 kilos.
That's
So
great.
she'll be in the mix. She's
Yeah.
definitely still on the roster. Obviously, based off of previous totals, she's a stitch behind Tiffany, and Tiffany has been doing fantastic. So it's but she'll be there anyways.
Yeah.
She'll keep people honest. But Amanda's Amanda. Now is Amanda. I don't know. We'll have to see what Amanda does because again,
I,
she doesn't necessarily have to do this.
yeah, I want to clear it. So, like, it makes sense if she's doing this because regardless of the result, it doesn't matter. If she's safe regardless of result, then she just wants to compete. Then I understand. I just didn't know the details of that. Are they going to take the Sheffield? Or are they going to take the most recent? Like, you were here at Nationals. This is what you totaled. We're going off of that, right? Um, so I just wanted to clarify that. But regarding Layla, we're not overlooking anyone. I think Tiffany's had a great prep. I think Layla's had a great prep. Stephanie's put up some good numbers. So, yeah, I think I wouldn't say that it's not a battle. I think there will be a battle for third. I think Layla more the favorite for that, but also Layla could maybe do something huge. I mean, if she did 542 and a half, and then she could put on a sizable amount, I mean, I think Tiffany's going to definitely be well above 580. Um, but yeah, all this to say, not overlooking any of these ladies. Don't know why Amanda's competing. She wants to do it just to do it, sure. And I'm excited for the day. So that's all I got.
You
I
know,
hope.
Ryan, we
Go
should
ahead.
add a new segment to your podcast. Like, we should be able to phone in on these people and like ask them like like why are they competing? Like, we should have that segment where if we don't have an
Why?
answer for something, we call them. We don't
You
tell them
know,
we don't tell them they're going to be on the show. We just find their number and call them and ask.
people like Angelina Martinez are like, Meg, just stay home. You can go to Worlds here. Let me grab a national title. What's wrong? What's going on here?
That's what I'm
And,
telling
and like
Amanda, man.
that's right.
I'm
That's
gonna
why you're
DM
like
her right
Amanda.
now.
Why
Be
you
like,
got to
stay
do?
home.
Why you got to do us like that? Let
Yeah,
us come on. We're on the same team here. What
yeah,
are we doing? Stay home. Enjoy yourself.
yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. And of course, 84 pluses. We're not anticipating any major battles there as well in this podcast. Again, we're focusing on battles at U.S. Nationals. And Bonica Brown has almost 100 kilos on the next competitor. So this is going to be the Bonica Brown show. And Bonica likely to punch her ticket to return to IPF Worlds. And we'll see what happens now. Of course, the IPF Worlds has changed quite a bit. And you have a lady who's 50 kilos ahead now in Sonita. I don't gotta tell you, big body, another flex athlete. And Sunita, by the way, I've already talked this in the European recap that I'm going to drop, but holy smokes, uh, the strongest woman that ever lived, tested or untested at Euros. What a freaking performance that was. But anyways, don't let me get off track. So there's the women's side in terms of the battles for U.S. nationals. Um, Anything else you think we should throw out there? I mean, we covered all the highlights between the two episodes of all the battles that everyone wants to see. And what we think also along the way is likely to be the U.S. national team because some of the lifters on the men's side, like Perk isn't lifting and he'll have that sewed up. But it's interesting that Megan, it might be a sign of respect for Angelina that Meg shows up and is like, you know what, I'm just going to be for sure about this. Right? You never know. There's different ways of taking it. I don't know. It's interesting. All right. We all good here,
Yes,
lady
sir.
and gentlemen?
Good.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. As per usual, please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, six pack Lapadat, six up, and we are out.